It's been a dramatic 24, perhaps 36 hours in the city of Ekurhuleni. And the focus, much of it being around Pastor Mboro and his Incredible Happenings Church, which was torched by angry residents yesterday. But I posit that this is a man who has acted with impunity for years. Do you remember when he was selling selfies that he claimed he had taken when he had gone to heaven? There was also that incident of the death of a 3-year-old child at his church. A desperate mother had brought the toddler to the church, seeking prayers, seeking answers. The child was dehydrated, got ill, and died at the premises, and the pastor, of course, blamed ambulances for showing up too late. But more worryingly, of course, the most recent incident of swinging a panga at teachers and learners at a school, forcibly removing traumatized children that he had no authority to remove from the premises, has sparked outrage and anger, leading to the torching of his church yesterday. The Ekurhuleni Mayor, Nkosindiphile Xhakaza, has appealed for calm and joins us now. Mr. Mayor, thank you so much for your time this morning and welcome to 702 Breakfast.
Yeah, thank you very much for having us, and the greetings to listeners.
All right, we can outline a long list of grievances and allegations against this particular pastor. I suppose it really isn't any surprise that the community has reacted with such anger.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've noted, the pastor, his, participation in the community, and really, for now, I would maybe just focus on the message that we want to put across, that we're calling for calm, and that the incident has been rather very unfortunate and very distasteful, in particular coming from a pastor as a leader of a church, a very important institution in society. We expect a lot from church leaders, and we hope our law enforcement, the arm of the law will be, strengthened, because, what has been happening there has been barbaric. Schools are a place of learning, but for us as society, they are a place of safety. That's where we feel that our children, they are really, safe, and we are really, just for now, calling for our communities to come. We are happy with how the Department of Basic Education have actually responded, prompt response. They were on the ground offering all the necessary support. We've also ensured that our MMC, or member of the Mayoral Committee for Community Safety, is there on the ground, including the councillor, and that community structures are really engaged, to actually manage, to assist to manage the situation. In particular, some of the learner organizations, the COSAS, the learner representative council, so that they then understand that it is now in the hands of the law enforcement, and we all need to cease fire.
And to be clear, Mr. Mayor, let's just, without any doubt, make it clear that arson is a crime and is to be condemned no matter what feelings people may have about any individuals.
Exactly. That's a message that we're putting across. We've got a strong law enforcement structures from the police who've acted, supported, of course, by the Metro Police. Now the courts are handling the situation. There's vivid, evidence in front of us, and it doesn't matter how this pastor tweets, how does with the what you call it, the selfies. There is evidence, and that thing is unacceptable. But on the side of the communities, we want them to restrain and not take the law into their own hands, because the police will have to react. There's a clear expectation from everybody that you can't take the law into your own hands. We've noted some of the student leaders, the learners themselves are now arrested, and I'm sure it's one of the things that we do not want to be grappling with. We must allow law enforcement agency to act, and I'm certain that our legal arm will prevail.
Mr. Mayor, would you accept that part of the frustration, and as I said earlier, we're unequivocal on the point that arson is a crime. Having said that, though, would you accept a community that is frustrated by powerful people who exploit the vulnerable, who do so for years, and it would appear authorities look the other way?
Well, I mean, you would know we've got a strong law enforcement agencies that evidence before the courts, evidence before the police. That is what matters most. But of course, at the center of everything is the protection of communities. And I must indicate that there's been instances where there's been unpleasant. Either whether it's remarks or conduct or actions, from the said pastor. But I would not necessarily at this stage want to comment about the extent of effectiveness of legalities, because I have not necessarily done an exercise in that regard. But just from the posture of a leader in society, there has been worrisome instances, and really we have condemned them in few times. I'm a leader of communities. I'm a leader of the ANC before I became a mayor. Few times we've been really, preaching and engaging with, different community bodies, churches that are emerging with different characters. And really, it is our society who follow, also protect this type of institution, even if they go outside of what we traditionally understand as the role of a church, as a role of a community organization and NGOs in our society. But we rather focus on what is before us now, so that we don't, situation like this can easily escalate. Tomorrow you wake up and then they said the remarks of the mayor, and I'm saying, because in our society we really have different characters who do different things, and we try by all means to utilize also different bodies in society to ensure that we deal with some of these abnormality in our society. We're just hoping that the law enforcement this time around, our legal institution, they will really rise, because there is enough evidence to ensure that this pastor is behind bars for the longest time.
And of course, everybody must be held accountable. The arsonists behind the torching of the church, but indeed including even this man himself, Paseka Motsoeneng, or Pastor Mboro as he is known. How worried are you that today's court appearance could also be problematic? Have we secured that?
We are happy with the availability of law enforcement. We've seen the police, they are on the ground. As I've indicated earlier, a member of the Mayoral Committee for Community Safety in Ekurhuleni, who heads the EMPD, the Ekurhuleni Metropolis Department, they are available. They are watching the situation. We're engaging also with councillors, with community structures, with the learner bodies, the COSAS, and trying to identify really other relevant structures so that we ensure that there is no retaliation or counter retaliation, that the situation is really calm. We're confident at this stage that everything is proceeding well.
Nkosindiphile Xhakaza is the mayor of Ekurhuleni. Thank you for joining us. And I suspect one of the things that might be considered is that when the powerful are allowed to get away with provocative acts, illegal acts, with some sense of impunity, though not justified, we shouldn't be surprised at vigilantism.
Current events, developing stories,
tough questions,
your voice making a difference.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.